dating world can be tough enough, and it can be tough to try to figure out little things like, gosh, when do I actually talk about having epilepsy? Well, in general, there's a couple different answers to that question before it pops up and says, hi. Let's say you need to walk or meet people or take a ride. You might have to say that. When you're not really all that fond of blinky Christmas lights because you're in that 3% of the population that cannot handle blinky Christmas lights or blinky lights of any sort. Lovely to meet you. I have a disease. Don't do this. There was a question earlier that I'm going to be invited to give some feedback about, and it's about epilepsy and romance, and when you tell, say, your prospective romantic pursuit about your epilepsy. In some cases, it's going to come up quicker than others. In some cases, it might be... It's always tough. I mean, you don't walk into a restaurant and say something like, oh, hello, how are you? Hi, I have a disease. As if you're telling someone about your new Jaguar. No comment. I don't have a new Jag, but as God wills. Actually, Santa, I know it's September, but if you're listening, I know I could really, I'd like a Mini Cooper, light blue. Sorry. Anyway, it's not something that you should be ashamed of. It's definitely something that, let's just say, your idiosyncrasies don't make you you, but your idiosyncrasies become part of you. And generally, a friend of mine gave me some good advice because I was feeling slightly wonky and feeling really, really upset that I wasn't like everyone else, quote unquote. I want to be normal, I said, because of course I did. By the way, there ain't no such thing, kids. And people will, a friend, someone who loves you, accepts that because they see your good points and they see the good things about you and the wonderful things about you and the things that you love. And people can go and they can love you even if you are the weirdest, most alien creature on the face of the planet to them. Even if, let's say, you're too close and you have a nightmare and you screech like a banshee in mourning, because that's what banshees do. They mourn. Yeah. Actually, they foretell that someone in the family that they love is dying, but okay. Getting off Irish folklore and getting back to the subject at hand, next week, Beth will be talking about selkies. Sorry, I'm a big fan of mythology. Anyway, those who love you will see you, and they'll be able to see the forest through the trees, and they'll see you, and they'll love you, alien you. So anyway, I mean, don't march right in and just inform all and sundry that you have a dreadful disease. It might come up quicker. For example, I teach on epilepsy, ergo I will say this as part of, well, what do you do? Well, I teach on epilepsy. Oh, that's very interesting. Tell me, do you have it yourself? And not really being able to lie and not really seeing a reason to, which would be a terrible reason to lie, but also just not enjoying it in general because it makes the other person feel bad, ergo it and a lot of things that could have been taken care of in 5 seconds flat just go all weird. Anyway, but so there's that. Explaining why you don't like the look of let's say a light bulb that's going out. Oof, gosh, that's oof. Now, mind you, people having seizures because of blinky lights does happen. However, it only happens in 3% of the population. So if 3 million people in the United States have epilepsy, there's a section of, say, a couple 100,000 of people, which is still a pretty big number, who will have issues with blinky lights. I haven't had a seizure now in 4.5 years, but I still do get some massive headaches. So yeah, I'm probably not going to enjoy a sudden flash in my face. There's be honest, be upfront, especially if you need a ride, if you're walking to somewhere so that you can meet them. Oh, well, why don't you drive? Now it's, well, I don't drive yet, but if you know the number of a good driving school, pop me the number, eh? Things like that. I wouldn't suggest waiting until it pops up. I mean, the situation, that is, not the... Ugh, never mind. And this is why I am putting my snarky answers on video to an extent, because maybe I can come up with a clean answer and a straightforward answer of I would start as soon as I'm comfortable with the person and go from there. And just listen, romance is a very difficult field. There's a lot of pitfalls, there's a lot of traps. Gosh, that's depressing. Start with you. Love you. And as RuPaul says, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love someone else? That's my best. And thank you, Ru, for letting that stick. You actually helped that stick in my mind. You're what I bring up when I think about that, and in order to help myself. So thanks. Love you, Ru. Anyway, this is getting long. It's gonna be longer once I put in the jokes and the little example videos, so, and the intro. So anyway, I'm gonna pop off, but anyway, I would suggest be straightforward, be honest. Don't think it's the end of the world if that person isn't right for you, or if you're not right for that person. And if they can't accept you, their loss.